The council chamber fell silent when Alara Quinn walked in. The small creature cradled against her chest. Rinx's obsidian scales caught the sterile lighting, his 6 eyes still milky with youth tracking the assembled delegates with predatory focus. The cub was no larger than a house cat, but every species in the room recognized the distinctive ridge pattern of a Kreshna apex hunter. Ambassador Thelzix of the Conformity recoiled so violently his hoverchair scraped backward. "Madness," he hissed through his translator. "That human has bonded with a Kreshna juvenile." Kreshna. Ilara met his 4-eyed stare without flinching. She'd practiced this moment during the 3-week journey to the Galactic Assembly Station. Her hand moved in slow, deliberate strokes along Rinx's spine, and the cub's throat vibrated with something between a purr and a growl. "The council summoned me," she said quietly. "I'm here." Chairman Voss, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with agitated colors. "You were summoned to answer for your crimes against interstellar security protocols. That creature's parents ravaged the mining colony on Helios 7, 43 souls consumed. And you dare bring their offspring into this sacred chamber?" Rinx's head swiveled toward the chairman, and Alara felt the cub's muscles tense. She whispered something the translators couldn't catch, and the small predator relaxed, tucking his wedge-shaped head beneath her jaw. The gesture sent ripples of disbelief through the assembly. "I was on Helios 7, Alara said, her voice carrying despite its softness. "I was part of the rescue team that arrived after the attack. We found Rinx in the colony's wreckage, abandoned. He was starving, injured, dying. You should have terminated it," Thelzix snapped. "Kreshna are extermination-class predators. There are protocols, human. Protocols that exist because lesser species like yours lack the wisdom to recognize existential threats." Something dangerous flashed across Ilara's face. Rinx chittered, sensing the shift in her emotions, and she forced calm back into her breathing. "Lesser species," she repeated. "Is that what you call us?" "The Conformity has 80-member worlds, Ambassador. How many of those worlds did you conquer before they conformed?" The chamber erupted. Half the delegates demanded her immediate removal. The other half seemed uncertain, which Alara counted as a victory. Only the chairman's pulsing commands restored order. "You will address the charges," Voss declared. 7 months ago, you violated quarantine protocols by removing a Kreshna juvenile from a restricted zone. You transported it illegally across 4 sectors. You refused to surrender it to Conformity bioweapons disposal teams. And now, intelligence suggests you have been training it. Training an apex predator whose species has destroyed 17 civilizations. Ilara's fingers found the spot behind Rinx's jaw that made him relax completely. The cub went nearly limp in her arms, trusting absolutely. "I didn't train him," she said. "I raised him. There's a difference." "Semantic nonsense," Thelzix spat. "No." Ilara's voice hardened. "Training implies dominance. Control through fear or conditioning. I offered Rinx something else, something humans have been giving to predators for millennia. I offered him partnership." She set Rinx on the floor. The cub sat at her feet, tail curled around her ankle, waiting. Every weapon in the chamber powered up simultaneously. "He could kill half this room before you stopped him," Alara said calmly. "But he won't. Not because I command it. Because he chooses not to." "Impossible," another delegate breathed. "Kreshna don't choose. They consume. Adult Kreshna, maybe." Alara knelt beside Rinx, meeting his multiple eyes. "But Rinx was a blank slate when I found him. Starving, terrified, alone. His parents were dead, killed by Conformity hunters after the Helios 7 attack. He was hours from death when I gave him water, food, warmth. Not because I'm special, because I'm human, and humans have a deeply irrational tendency to adopt things that should probably eat us." She stood, and Rinx stood with her, perfectly synchronized. "You want to know what I've learned in 7 months? Kreshna, juvenile's imprint. They bond. They're capable of loyalty, affection, Even what might be love. Everything your protocols assume about them is based on adult behavior on Krishna, raised by other Krishna, taught to view all other species as prey. Chairman Voss pulsed crimson. You're proposing that human interference has created an aberration. This proves nothing except your capacity for dangerous experimentation. I'm proposing, Elara said, that the galaxy has been trying to solve the Krishna problem with extermination for 3,000 years. And it hasn't worked. They adapt, they survive, they return. Because you're treating a symptom, not a cause. She gestured to Rinks, who chirped softly. What if we tried something else? What if we raised them alongside us, as partners instead of enemies? Humans did it with wolves, with raptors, with creatures that should have been our predators. We turned them into companions. Madness, Thelzix repeated. But his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Maybe, Elara acknowledged. But I've read the reports. Krishna attacks are increasing. They're evolving faster than you can exterminate them. Your war is failing. She paused, letting that sink in. I'm offering an alternative. Let me prove it works. Give me time, resources, a team. Let me show you that these creatures can be more than monsters. The silence stretched. Finally, Chairman Voss spoke. His colors muted, uncertain. And if you fail? If this creature reverts to its nature? Elara's hand found Rinks's head, and the cub leaned into her touch with absolute trust. Then you'll have your proof that I was wrong, she said quietly. But if I succeed, you'll have to face the possibility that the real Menace wasn't the predator cub who learned to trust. It was the galaxy that never gave him the chance. The vote took hours. When it concluded, Elara had her authorization conditional, limited, and surrounded by enough restrictions to fill a data cube. But it was permission nonetheless. As she left the chamber, Rinks padding silently at her side, Ambassador Thelzix called out, "Human, why risk everything for a monster?" Elara paused, looking back. Because someone once told me that humanity's greatest weakness is our inability to see monsters. Only people who haven't been shown a better way. She smiled faintly. They meant it as an insult. I took it as a compliment. The doors closed behind them. Woman and predator, walking side by side into an uncertain future.